Go ahead.
Right.
Oh, I want a freaking
Hey, Babbitt.
thing over here so I can talk.
You could turn the music on.
I can now.
News. Good news.
Whoops.
I read the news today. A two-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and written. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, the riot across its way under your skin. Just got out from the things they spot, and it won't let you shoot. Give me that good news. Because tired of the same old shit.
Give me that good news. Yes. Hey, you can't have coffee on Friday morning without the nectar of good old Uncle Pete and the grounds. Pull up a chair, jump in the conversation by being part of the grounds. Join Scott Giles, Uncle Pete, and their guests as they hit the grounds today. Hey, we're going to get underneath the surface a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to deep dive. But, folks, take a look. Join us. Copy the stream link out there. Come on in, follow the directions, make sure you've got maybe earbuds and your microphone ready to go. But this is the only show that we know that is, well, audience friendly.
No, it's not audience. Well, I mean,
I don't know. What do you call that?
We're
friendly.
friendly.
Participation
We're friendly.
Yeah.
Participation. Yeah, we're the only audience participation internet radio talk show that we know of.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't looked anywhere else, so
Well,
who knows?
No, we are.
I haven't.
We are.
We are.
Should
yeah.
we patent it?
I've not dug under any rocks. We could maybe.
That'd be-
It's certainly copywritten.
Well,
Written
yeah.
on the
we
copy.
we should patent
It
it.
is.
You know what I
It
mean?
is
There's
written.
our thing.
It is written on the copy.
Yeah.
Like Facebook.
So
for sure. Right.
You know,
I mean, I don't know. It is.
Interactive book.
interactive. Ooh, interactive book.
Okay.
Well, there are interactive books, aren't there? I thought that was a new idea for a split second.
It was for a split second
For a
in my
split
mind.
second in your
And
mind.
if
In
I
my
think
mind
about it-
too.
If I think about it in a minute,
Yeah.
it'll be a
Then
new,
I'm like,
it'll be a new idea again.
Those exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Those exist already.
You
So
know, at our
but-
age, you know what I mean. It is a new idea every 30 to 50 seconds.
Oh, great. And let's see. Let's see if we can. I don't know if this is. Let's see what happens here.
what are we going to happen?
Reese's Barkery and Paw-Teek is an independent, family-owned.
Whoa, that was loud.
Supply store. We specialize in homemade treats and premium pet foods for your dogs and cats. We also carry collars, leashes,
I
toys,
don't know if
and
that's coming through on the feed,
accessories. See how
though.
we can make a difference in the life of your pet today. Our family truly cares about your pets and their health. Your pets are always welcome at Reese's Barkery and Paw-Teek. Visit us at 1313 North Riverside Drive in McHenry. Call us at 815-363-7297 or check us out at www.reesesbarkery.com.
Woo! Bring the puppy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, did
Bring
that one
the
run, was that one running over the air?
Yeah, I
As
hope.
far as we know,
it was over
it-
someplace.
It might.
It was on the radio.
It maybe. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. I was
There-
watching.
there-
I was watching it jump.
Oh, you were watching.
Yeah.
Oh, so it did the thing.
Yeah,
So
it
you're
did.
doing your job.
I tried.
Well,
See,
it's Friday morning. Is anybody really doing their
Right.
job? Like, you know, it's like Friday,
Right.
going to work and gonna sit there.
See, that's what happens when you hire professional help.
Yeah.
This stuff actually works.
Yeah.
Turns
It
out
actually
good.
works.
So
Well,
yeah.
thanks,
Yeah.
Kent. I appreciate it
How
when you
about
make
that?
things work.
Little barkery for you.
Yeah, we
Little
do.
barker.
So we're talking about going deeper today. I like that, and I've got a few things on my list here. If we get to them, that's cool. That's fine. But you were talking with your buddy about going beyond. We touched on this a little bit. Well, hey, there's Silas.
Hey, how are you?
Holy, turn down the volume.
Happy Friday.
We can turn down the volume on our end. That's okay. Happy Friday. How you been?
Happy Friday.
I'm good. Yeah, sorry about the volume issues. I'm on my phone.
No, you're fine.
That's our end.
It's our end. It's our end in the studio here. So, but
Okay.
good to see you, man. But
Yeah,
this is Silas, and I've met Silas when he called in the chamber looking for help for stuff going on out here. He's out in Arizona, right?
Right, in Phoenix.
Yeah, in Phoenix. So there you go. That's cool. And we'll probably see Gary from Singapore in a little while. We might see Don in a little while.
You could tell Silas is in Phoenix. He's got his 3/4 zip. It must be 65 there or something.
I was just going to say, if he's in Phoenix,
Well, it's a lot cooler in the morning than it is in the afternoon, obviously. So I think it gets down to about 50 right now at night. So
that's
weather.
windows open, good sleeping weather.
That's
Yeah,
great
windows
sleeping
open,
weather.
good sleeping weather.
You know, that's the one thing a lot of people actually don't know about sleep is that you should be about 62 degrees. 62 to 64 degrees is the optimal sleeping temperature to actually help you get into a nice deep sleep.
yeah,
You know, you're better off to be cold in the room and bundle up with blankets than
Right.
it is
For the
to be
last-
hot.
yeah. For the last 4 months, I haven't had the heat on. It's just much more comfortable being cool, like you said. So
You guys actually have heat in Arizona other than the sun?
yeah, we stayed it all summer long.
They all live in adobe huts out there.
No. I actually love Arizona. I used to go out there every year for into Scottsdale for the Barrett Jackson car auctions.
Ooh,
So
nice.
that was always awesome. You know what I mean?
It's a big event.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
It
So
was a good, cold, hot, cold. It'll run you all day long.
I actually turn a fan on every night. I have a one of those stand fans on my side of the bed.
No, I've just got the ceiling fan. It runs 24/7.
Mary Catherine doesn't like it blowing on her. So we used to have a ceiling fan that we would put on where we used to live, but she prefers to. I like cold. She doesn't.
Good morning, Jerry.
There you go. Jerry, good morning. How you doing out there? Jerry Settles hanging out with us here. Good morning. Good morning. And hey, that's a quality picture of my left ear.
I don't know.
And Scott's
I don't even see me.
I don't know.
Scott's shoulder.
Yeah, no,
I'm
we
gone,
got the
so-
open sign.
There we go.
So, there we go.
We got the open sign. Let's see what this does.
And
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
there
better.
we go. There we are.
Uh,
So
I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, right. You're killing us here, Kent. My goodness gracious.
but I'm going. I like the idea of going a little deeper because we touched on this a little bit last week,
Right.
But again, we kind of surface scratched it,
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Completely.
and I think that if we go a little bit deeper, and again, looking at our that's that one there. Oh, you're okay. I see what you're doing. See, this is live production.
Yeah, we're figuring it out
Live
as time goes
production
by,
work,
man.
yeah. But when you say how you doing, or you're hanging out with somebody that is, you consider them a good friend, generally the inquiry is genuine.
Yeah.
The inquiry into how are you doing is
Right.
genuine.
Yeah, really.
And
What's going on?
And it's okay to, because and again, when people say, "Hey, how you doing?" in general, my common response is fine and dandy. I'm both
That's
fine.
programmed in you,
Yeah,
Even if you're shitty.
I'm fine and dandy.
right? Even if you're
Fine
having a
and
bad
dandy.
day.
I'm always going to be fine and dandy. So that's just
And why
how it
is
goes.
that? Right?
Um,
Because you generally don't want to let someone into your deeper issues, so to speak. And I hate to say issues, but your deeper thoughts. What's really going on in your life. And for me, it sucks. I don't like that. I truly, honestly care about if I'm going to not even waste my time. If I'm going to give you my time, you're a special person to me in some way, shape, or form.
Same exact thing here.
Right. So, I truly want to help you if I can, or at least share with you, what's going on in my life and what issues I'm going through and maybe how I dealt with it. Maybe it'll help you through something or look at something just differently,
Mm-hmm.
a different perspective.
Yeah.
For me, that's huge because that's the first thing I always hear out of, hey, how's it going? Oh, things are good. I'm fine. And it's not, especially right now. everybody's got something happening.
Everybody's got something. And well, last week you put into perspective for me my attitude on the whole loyalty issue, the one and done thing for me.
Yeah.
And I actually had to rethink that a little bit because it's not true. If I go back and think about it, it really isn't true, because there are some people that I have continued to work past things that surface level relationships, it's true, but people who I have a relationship with that are deeper, that did not hold true for me. So I had to re-examine what my actual attitude was for that. So you made me think a little bit more on that after the show. So because it's
I succeeded.
You did
my quest.
You mentored me.
I love that. I love that word. I love that word.
Do you? See,
to a certain point,
because I don't so much. So Jerry says, "Good morning, wonderful, good to hear you guys." I don't like the word mentor. I don't like, because again, I think about it differently than you guys think about it.
Silas, don't be silent. If you got to jump in here, jump right in, brother.
Oh no, I mean, I had some thoughts on kind of the how your day is going question. I used to work with a boss who on a Monday morning would ask you how your weekend was and had absolutely no interest in hearing the response. And I thought it was very disingenuous. Why would you ask someone how they were doing if you didn't care to hear the answer?
He felt obligated to ask you that, like he cared about you.
Right. So I think it was actually a she. So I actually think that I think we do have to be somewhat selective about how we want to engage with others, and I think that growth. To grow, we have to make ourselves vulnerable. So if we have somebody that we can confide in, hopefully you have enough of those people in your life, you can share something privately and feel supported in what you're sharing. And so.
I like, so because I'm guilty of that. I saying, "Hey, how's your weekend?" I mean, I used to own companies and have employees, and "Hey, how you doing? How's your weekend?" And all I truly wanted, as I'm walking through to my office to get to what I got to do, all I really wanted was a quick, "Hey, it was great, it was good. How about yours?" "Oh, great, good." That's it. I didn't want anything deeper. It was a very flippant greeting. It was
just a cordial thing.
Yeah,
that's what you were taught to do.
Yeah,
right. Not really like.
So I'm guilty of having done that myself in the past. I'm glad you pointed that out, Silas. Now with that, would you actually share or begin to share an answer, or like initially when that happened, would you start to share an answer and get cut off, or?
I learned very quickly not to.
Oh,
getting used against you.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, let's have lunch sometime. It's just not. So.
I'll call you.
You were trying. I mean, if you're honestly trying, I mean, if it mattered, or if it's just kind of I don't want to say a ploy, but a tactic, if you will, to get in tighter with your boss. So,
right.
And kind of keep yourself rolling. I get that.
Yeah, no, I agree. We had our moments. We had our moments for sure. Maybe when she was better prepared for a deeper conversation, but I always had kind of an array of people to choose from. So I found my people that I could confide in and share something deeper with. So
that's how do you get to that level? What do you recognize in someone that
where
says,
you want to start to share more deeper? Well, I mean, you got to definitely can't just be first week type of thing. I mean, I guess it could. I mean, some people right away know that person is just somebody you connect with for whatever reason. I mean, there's certain people I get around right away. I don't know about you either, Kent, but I get around. I just feel comfortable. It's like, wow, I feel I'm not I don't want to say I'm not a spiritual guy, but I'm just not, there's a certain feeling you get from, people's energies or auras. You know what I mean?
Right.
The vibe you get off them going, hey, I think this guy's a little bit, cool, or lady's cool, and I go a little deeper and enjoy some conversations. We got some commonalities, and for me that's huge, because human connection is to me is important. Some people don't care, but I like human connection. When I find somebody that I have that feeling with, I want to explore it a little bit.
So it's something that we learned very early in life, right? So when we came into kindergarten and our first grade, your teacher you looked up to, she was brilliant or he was brilliant, and they'd always say, "Hey, how are you?" And they would take a minute to listen. It made you feel good.
Right.
Right.
I think they generally care.
Right. So now we learn when we meet somebody, we should say, "Hey, how are you?" Because it made me feel good as a kid. Right. And we like that feeling. But now we're like, "Hey, how are you?" Don't answer this.
Right. Don't answer because I gotta get to my next call.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing is, nobody's everything, not everything, but a good portion of conversations out there today are just so surface oriented,
Well,
if you will.
In general, I hate most people.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I love them all, but I hate them all at the same time. I mean, I will do anything for you.
Yeah.
But
Thank you. I love you.
But for the most part, just leave me alone because I kind of hate you. Right? I mean, don't come into my space.
So let me ask you that. You say hate me. Is this not because you can't really?
Yeah, no, not really hate.
You don't really hate me.
I don't want to be bothered by you.
You don't want to be bothered, but you don't want to let me in on your life because
Right.
you've got enough going on. And at this point, I don't want to say it's futile.
Right.
But because for me, it's like, well, what are you going to do for me? Until you open up and find that person, holy cow, that person has been, maybe not the exact same, but very similar issues, because we all have very similar issues.
Oh yeah.
We all have the same issues. It's how you react to those issues, which is huge.
So when you see those posts on Facebook and social media of a cabin, it says, "I would rather live here than in the inner city." And that's me. I mean, you give me a cabin in the woods, and if I don't see anybody in a long time, I'm okay with that.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Mary.
I'm
says,
a cabin in the woods too.
Yeah, you're definitely a cabin in the woods guy. Speaking of cabin in the woods, Silas is working on getting getting a hold of someone or himself a little house on the lake over in McCollum Lake that is available through his family. Him right there.
Oh, really?
That's the thing I shot you yesterday.
Oh, is that what I wonder what?
Oh, you're selling one over there?
That's his grandma's place. Mary says, "I don't hate people. I'm just happy with my circle of people."
So let me keep hitting Grill and Kent on that one. So you say hate. So to me, hate is a huge word and it's a terrible word, right? And I understand it, but why would that come out of your mouth? So what has happened? My question would be like, okay, what has happened that you hate people? That you don't want to let a lot of people in, because sometimes the people that you might not want to go deeper with or let in could be the one that was, if you're spiritual, or believe in God, that God sent to you to help rescue you, or just it could be that person that opened your eyes.
Sure. And really in 51 years, I'm that guy.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah, I'm old cat. So in 51 years, I've expelled a lot of energy to help a lot of people, to be left on the short end of the stick. So, and Pete will tell you
they didn't give back, right?
Pete will tell you I don't like making anybody unhappy, even if I have to tell you.
He hates it. He abhors conflict.
Yeah,
you're more with me too, but you want to make people happy, but you're not thinking about yourself first,
right?
That's a huge one, and that's when going deeper for me. I think a lot of people are like that. People want to connect. People want to enjoy other people's company and listen to them, right?
Yeah.
But they're afraid to kind of let go.
A lot of people are, I think. Yeah.
Well, because like for me, I'm the same way. I get in trouble. I used to get in trouble a lot with my wife and my family because I like helping people. I really get jazzed up about, you telling me you really rethought that. It's like, okay, great. Maybe I made a difference in his week this week, and that makes me feel better.
You did actually, because I had to do a little self-reflection and think, is what I said really true of myself? Yeah. And it wasn't. I liked to think that it was, because it's a guarding thing.
Hey, Shayna, good morning.
Hey, Shayna, good morning. How you doing, Shayna? Now, and Silas, maybe you want to chime in on this too a little bit, but I don't have, my wife complains about this a lot. I don't have an embarrassment gene. I'll pretty much do what I want to do, say what I want to say, wear what I want to wear. What I'm not going to easily embarrass. It just doesn't happen. But I will be mindful of the environment I'm in, the interactions I have to have, and how I need to conduct myself in certain situations. So there is always, pertinent to a situation, a veneer.
Well, of course.
That, okay, I'm in this role representing these people, and I need to do this way. So I'm going to behave thusly. At the same time, I am the fellow who once upon a time walked into a very large executive board meeting at these were people with a large company, very, very high-end executives. And I had been playing with a FedEx envelope and discovered that if I pushed in the sides and pushed down the top, that it made an awesome Pope-looking hat, like a little papal hat. And I had stuck it on my head, sitting at my desk, just because I was goofing around. And I walked into the meeting. I forgot it was on my head. I didn't really feel it.
Going deep there, baby.
I walked into this meeting with this thing on my head and just sat down, took my place at the table. It was a very, very large table, would not have actually fit in this room this way maybe. And just sat there and started eating off the little veggie tray and was playing with a carrot, listening to a guy talking. People are just looking at me like, I'm like, why am I the center of freaking attention? I'm just smiling. Hey, good morning. How you doing? And the guy just he just stops talking, looks at me a minute, and then just kept talking. And then I'm sitting here playing with a carrot, those little baby carrot things.
Yeah.
Playing with a carrot. And after a while, I played with it a little too hard, and it shot all the way to the other end of the table. And it's like it happened in slow motion. So here I am in my FedEx hat. I just flipped a baby carrot all the way to the end of the
30
table.
30 feet down the table.
And it hit the speaker right in the freaking center of the forehead.
You guys became best friends after that, didn't you?
Actually, we wound up getting along very well. Because he stopped and he's like, I'm like, well, damn, that was a good shot.
That was a good shot.
And
what I was aiming for.
What else was I going to say?
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, that was a good shot. And I turned because my boss was just 2 seats down. I said, I'm probably fired now, right? And he said, well, you probably want to take that FedEx thing off your freaking head. Oh, I forgot that was there. And just, it just was what it was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what are you going to do with that? There's nothing. It happened.
Right.
That's fine.
I'm not going to feel. I didn't feel any embarrassment whatsoever.
Okay, because that's you.
It just happened.
Yeah,
And
you
you
were being you. You're a nonconformist, Pete.
Well,
A nonconformist?
He shared it not.
A nonconformist.
Not realizing.
Are you a big risk taker in life?
I take big risks, but after serious evaluation. So I don't take knee-jerk risks, but I have taken very large risks of many different natures that could have gone really bad either way, and some have, and some have been incredibly wonderful. But I do a lot of research before, or a lot of thought, if it's a personal thing, before taking a risk.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say I'm a nonconformist, because I spent 30 years in HR where it's all about conformity.
Yeah, do as I say, not because I. Yeah.
Hey, Phil Nasarino. Good morning.
Hey,
Good
Phil,
morning,
how you
Phil.
doing?
Glad to have you with us, buddy.
So back to you though, Kent. I mean, why would you say? And I know you don't really necessarily mean, but you say hate.
Yeah.
It's because you don't trust people.
No, I probably trust him too much.
Is that it?
Yeah, I know. I'll get
So
taken
you
advantage of at some point.
you pour your heart out on the table
Yeah.
and they stomp on it.
Yeah.
So you're opening up too soon.
Yeah.
Right. So and I think that's what, probably more people than not actually do that because, at least I know that's kind of me, and I shun a lot of people away because I
Yeah.
get honest and open right away. And I figure, you know what, I'm going to open this door. And if they come through the door and they want to share and be my bud, it's awesome. If not, I'm not wasting any time, but for me, I can't use the word hate. I distrust.
Yeah,
people.
I dislike them. I don't
Right.
know. Yeah.
I mean, I like to be around people.
Yeah.
I really enjoy being around people. I mean, I'm at my best when I'm with people. I don't like being isolated. I don't like being on my own.
Yeah.
I think life was meant to be lived with, you know, a community. Well, you know what they say? It takes a village, like to raise kids, right?
Yeah.
Shayna says, I can tell a lot about people by what their favorite comedian is. And then she asks Silas, Silas, who's your favorite comedian? Do you enjoy comedians?
Yeah, I definitely do. I was going to say you're probably somewhere between nonconformity and comedy with that act you put on. For me, I mean, I don't know. I've always liked Eddie Murphy, Billy Crystal.
Good old.
Yeah.
You ever listen?
Very Seinfeld. Very funny.
You ever listen to Bill Burr?
Yeah, he's great.
No.
That guy, my son turned me on to him, and at first, I was like, "Wow!" I mean, like
Brian Regan.
Brian
Hilarious,
Regan.
yeah.
But
he's good.
you should
Hilarious.
listen. You should
Clean.
try. You should listen to Bill Burr. I mean, he's all. I mean, he's full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he, you know, is one of the ones that actually feels, you know, like the majority of us do, or at least he really tells it like it is. I mean, and that's the one thing with comedians too is, you know, most of them, if you really talk to them on the side, they are really messed up people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of them actually hate people.
Yeah.
You know, but they need to that's how they do their preaching.
Right.
Right. That's how they do their preaching. So
I enjoy Dave Chappelle
Morning,
now.
Gary.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy current Dave Chappelle much more than early Dave Chappelle. But he went through some stuff.
They all have, and that's how they come up with their
John
routines.
Candy.
You know,
Phil says John Candy.
Yeah, John Candy.
Oh my God, yeah.
He was amazing. He was more a comedic actor than a comedian.
Yeah.
To me anyway, but he was awesome. Chris Farley.
Yeah, he didn't do stand up, did he?
John
little
Candy,
if he did.
very little, very little. Earlier comedians, Victor Borga, and I don't know if you know who he is.
Name sounds familiar, but no.
It's an old school guy.
He was a pianist, but he would do comedy.
Oh, that was the guy that played music.
Stuff. And he would do, but he had a whole bit about if we spoke with punctuation. And as a kid, when I listened to that for the first time, I died. I thought it was the most wonderful thing I'd ever heard because he started talking with punctuation, where if you said a sentence and then if you said a sentence, comma, but he would make sounds for the punctuations and, you know, colon, semicolon, period, exclamation point. Yeah. I loved it. Absolutely. Yeah. Observational comics. Yeah, those are good. I don't know that I have an actual favorite because I like to laugh.
I do too, and that's the best medicine ever, which, if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of throw a shameless plug in here.
Please do.
We at McHenry Downtown Theater have built one of our theaters into a stage down below, and we are doing comedy shows there. You can go and find us on Facebook or on the web.
A comedian there tonight.
There's a comedian there tonight. We've got comedians
Rich
every
Voss
weekend.
tonight?
You know what?
No, it's the guy with the stubby arms from.
Yes. Fire me or
Niederman or something. Or?
I don't know. Fire me or call me not a good business owner, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's
our
hilarious.
girl over there that runs the place, Grace, and then our beloved mayor Wayne. Is one of our partners, and they're doing a great job, and we're adapting over there. But just like I don't want to get too far off, but we are having comedians there to kind of.
And that's the McHenry Downtown Theater on Green Street.
On Green Street, yeah. The funny thing is, people don't want to sit in the movie theater and watch a movie, but they'll come in and listen to a comedian. You're sitting in the same place, same building.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, they got a stage.
Right.
Speaking of partners, I think that's a good segue for this.
I think so too. It's already 8:00.
I know, and I got a skedaddle today right at 8:30, unfortunately.
Oh, and we have the chamber.
For your dogs and
The scramble, virtual scramble.
Our family truly cares about our pets. And their health. Your pets are always welcome at Reese's Barkeries in Troutdale. Visit us at 1313 Riverside Drive in McHenry. Call us at 815-363-7297 or check us out at www.reesesbarkery.com.
Woof.
Woof. There you go.
Woof. Bring them in. Pets are welcome every day.
Woof, woof. Welcome. Gary, good morning out there. Evening. Gary was just actually hanging out with me on Mary Catherine's Power Hour.
Yeah, he loves that.
And it was a good morning for metalheads.
Yeah.
It really was.
Thanks for listening to 21.6 the Net. Of course, you're stuck in the net and you're grinding in the grounds right
Grinding
now.
in the ground.
That's it. And
Going
of course,
deeper on the ground.
going deeper on the grounds, getting down to that good stuff at the bottom that gives you the flavor.
I love that. I love
That
our
is it.
opening song too.
Yeah.
That
It's
just
really
that
good.
just spells it out, you know. And if my son
Some
likes
good
it, you know
news.
it's a good song.
Yeah,
He
some
likes it
good
too?
news.
Oh yeah, he likes it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Hopefully
That
he's
is a good
listening this morning.
Who is that?
Of course, you're stuck in the net.
Oh,
Uh-oh. We've
there we
got
go. No, we were coming
Echo,
across
echo,
on
echo,
echo over there.
echo.
Hello.
Silas is enjoying the show while he's on the show.
That's it.
So this is coming from me. I've never really looked at the different segments, if you will, of comedians. What's an observational comic?
Like Jerry Seinfeld. People who look at
Daily.
things, daily life. You know,
But isn't that what they all are?
What's the
they're
deal with
talking-
that?
Yeah, what's the deal with it? Jim Gaffigan, where he talks about, things that like cake. People often think he's a food comic because he talks so much about food. Food can be funny, but it really is just it's observation. It's this this rather than like a storyteller. Louis Anderson is a storyteller.
Yeah.
John Panette
Big
was an
storyteller.
amazing storyteller. Absolutely love.
None
John
of these
Panette.
names ringing a bell to me.
I
I
can
hide. I don't do. Much.
I can do comedians like Liza Schlesinger. She is a storyteller too. Really, really good. I can do comedians like a lot of guys can do sports figures. I love people that can make me laugh. I truly enjoy them. There's Gary.
There's
Good morning,
Gary
Gary, all the way from
Singapore.
Singapore.
Good evening.
Gary in Singapore. We got Silas in Arizona, and we got all kinds of people hanging out here on the live stream. Not Shayna says knock jokes are not for Indians. They are not.
Gary, just so you know, I love the fact that your country invented the Singapore sling.
Okay. I need to give you a little background on that.
That's going deeper, baby.
That is a tourist trap drink. Locals do not drink that. I need to stress that.
So,
That was invented by Raffles Hotel just purely for their own marketing purposes, but somehow or other it took a life on its own. So I need to let you know, locals do not drink that.
Locals
You
never
will not-
drink what the tourist
No,
drinks are, but it
no.
sounds good. If it rolls off your tongue well.
They drink Coca-Cola.
And if you drink enough Singapore slings, you can go deeper with your friends.
Hey,
Because it takes away that
shyness.
right, and and I think that might be part of the thing too. Is we are all so tightly wound that we're afraid to let down.
Well, it's, we've been raised not to share our feelings. Hey, swallow
Not
it.
realizing
Swallow it.
Right, not realizing it, right? I mean, and that's something like I tell my kids and have tried to, and obviously they I would like to say do as I do, or do as I say, not as I do. You know, I find myself somewhat in that situation, as far as I used to, at least as far as guarding.
Yeah.
But for me, life's too short. I mean, I might say something flippantly to somebody because I feel comfortable. They'd be like, "Oh my God, this is what I found, or this is how it works for me, or I think you're crazy." Well, then I want to get into that debate with them. I hate confrontation, but I also enjoy when you challenge me. I don't get challenged very often because I usually just walk away. But
that's interesting.
Because
I'm usually if I get challenged, I'm now like a dog with a bone. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna go through it like a brick wall. Shayna says, should they have topics that should be off limits? I'm referring to comedians or anything. With comedians, absolutely
nothing's off.
Not. I think we need to recognize that comedians are the people that peel the onion and expose things, whether we like it or not. And
that's why a lot of people laugh.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people laugh.
Home.
Yeah.
It's home. And you're like, oh my God, he's got me.
Yeah.
So,
Here we go.
Deidre says, I thought I challenged you every day.
It's funny because I was actually gonna say something like that because she does, challenge me.
And that's your wife?
That is my wife.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Deidre. She is.
And you were saying, Silas?
She's my rock.
Well, I was saying, just in reference to should there be topics that are off limits, I think comedy is truth's best friend, really.
Love you,
There's a very fine line between comedy and the truth, I think you'll find in life.
Yeah, all right.
Well, they're making fun of it. It's the truth. They're just making fun of it, so it's easier for them to actually present to you.
What happens is a good comedian becomes today's prophet. Now you take a look at George Carlin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I loved him.
In his time, in his time, you would sit there and laugh, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious." You run a clip of him today in his his comic routine, and you're like, "Oh, you're a genius."
He knew what he was talking.
That's not funny. That's real life.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they all are. If you really take it down to the bare minimum, and really look back to kind of its origin.
Yeah.
Right. This is probably why this is an issue or a problem they were having, and this is how they dealt with it. And they're making it funny, so he can present it, or they, women and men can present it to you, and you'd be like, you feel comfortable with that. You're like, I get it. I get it, and then you'll start laughing.
Yeah.
Or just like we talked about challenging. She says she challenges me every day.
Well, and most funny people, as you were saying, are miserable. They've got a lot of issues, and this is how they would deal with normal, society, or to be accepted would be make people laugh. They would have to turn it on and off.
And it's a way for them to get it out there and not to have somebody question them, so to speak. Right? They can say how they feel, make a joke of it, and not have to worry about someone questioning them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is that, and this is that.
Well, I mean,
they're go through it. And
they're up on stage, and so there's not really an opportunity to question. I mean, you can do it after the fact.
Right. They can put their stuff out there, make people think about it. Maybe they'll have a conversation like my son and I went to see Joe Rogan. He's like, literally, I'm open. You want to come see me? You got a problem with what I say, or just want to talk to me after the show?
Yep.
Come talk to me. I'm a normal dude.
Yeah.
I just am on TV or whatever. I mean, we didn't.
This is the bit that I play.
Right. This is the bit that I play. I mean, and that guy's nuts, but he's right on. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he challenges.
And Joe, we appreciate you tuning in this morning. Thanks.
Yeah.
A little shout out for Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, come on and check us out.
Gary, this is a good one for you. Are there differences between comedy in the USA and Singapore?
Yeah, the time that they're out during the day.
I think. Well, okay. So comedy in Singapore, Singaporeans are not really known for humor, but we do have comedians.
You are.
Now I'm a different. I came from a different pond.
He's from the far south side of Singapore.
I'm from out in the boondocks. So that's how it came about. No, but yes, we do have a stable group of comedians. But again, like the US, the issues are, of course, the topics tend to be very topical, very local. I mean, in the US, you have comedians like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, and I think they touch about issues of the day that affect society in the US during their time. So same thing in Singapore, we also touch on topics that are affecting whole society politically, and of course, just like the US has comedians that talk about your friendly neighbors down south and down north and up north, we also have comedians that touch on this cross-border relationship with our immediate neighbors up north, which is Malaysia, or Indonesia, which is the immediate neighbor down south. But we do have that. I would say that we much as we say Americanized comedy, but we have our own language, we have our own terminology. So you can say same, but different. Yeah. I guess that would be a better word.
So, Gary, let me ask you this. Being that, America is obviously very different in our culture than Singapore, do you find it that you folks actually might share things or be more deeper and open with? Because you guys, I know that your cultures are more, I guess, based or revolved around spirituality and what's the word? I can't think. I don't want to say religious, but religious spirituality, and
maybe a little bit more holistic thought.
There you go, like a holistic thought, but also just I can't think of the word, but like when you're a yogi or a Buddha, a monk or anything like that, to where, yeah, right. But I mean, like, so do you feel like that you folks share, because your culture views things differently than the United States? The United States is all about consumption and me.
Right. It's quite interesting thing that you raise up, because I think if we look at the history between, I'll broadly divide the world into East and West. So West being the US, the Europeans, the Western culture, Western civilization, and we'll talk about the East, which is what you guys say across the pond, the Far East, the mystical East, and things like that. So the Asian mentality, or the Asian culture when it comes to society, is more of as a body, as a whole. That means is what's good for everybody may not be good for a minority, but as long as the majority is good for a majority, then that's the way the society goes. You contrast this with what you just mentioned earlier, everything's of me, I and myself, that tends to be more of the Western culture. But if you look at it politically, that's where the Western culture emphasizes a lot on human rights, on individual rights, and that's probably where that little mindset comes from, the little culture comes from. It's my human right to do what I want, is I, me, myself. I do it. It may be at the expense of society, but hey, as long as I'm happy with it, that's me. Whereas the Asian human rights is not very prevalent, and I think you guys probably see that with what's happening in Asia and things like. Human rights is not really that big of on the agenda in the Asian society, and therefore it's more of what's good for the society as opposed to what's good for the individual. That being said, for Singapore itself, we are a secular country, so we are secularism as it is. So we don't have that level of spirituality in society that guides us, as compared to, say, Thailand, which Buddhism guides them, or even in Laos, in Myanmar, where Buddhism is society. And in Singapore, we are purely a secular country, so we are not that much affected by spirituality in our politics or in our thing, because there's a difference between the religion and politics have to be separated by law. So that's how we roll with it here in Singapore.
Well, that's interesting, because there is supposed to be a separation of church and state.
Yeah, maybe
which
just
is,
the side of the street. That's about it. That's the separation.
And we enforce it to a very, very, very strong extent. There's absolutely no room for any exception for that separation of state and religion. It is enforced right to that. So we have 10 official religions here in Singapore. So these 10 religions you are free to practice here. There's no discrimination. You're free to have your own place of worship there. But what you say at the pulpit must not be bothered, must not even touch the topic of politics, of society, or of whatever policy that is there. What you can preach is only your own religion, beliefs, and that's it. There is a very clear, distinct line, and should anybody overreach like that, I can guarantee you there will be a couple of visits within the next few days. It's very, very
wow. See, all right, I love America, thank you, but
go ahead.
Do you guys? With that being said, so do you think the fact that you have to really watch what you're saying there? Do you think that in your culture, do you guys go deeper? Or do you are a lot of your conversations surface because you maybe are afraid that you're going to get a call from that guy?
No, actually, so that actually applies only to, so if you are a pastor or a preacher or whichever one, part of the religious body,
human individual, not a pastor or preacher.
Oh, okay, then individually, no problem. You and I can have a discussion about our politics, about anything related to our society in the open, and there's nothing that's going to happen to you, which is often a common misconception, because I think the Western press has played up Singapore to be, or as William Gibson said famously, that Singapore is like Disneyland with a death sentence. Actually, that is as far from the truth as it really is. We are open society. We can discuss anything under the sun in the public. There's absolutely nothing, and you will not get the FBI or the FBI equivalent or the CIA equivalent shadowing you all the way.
Well, I think that as we don't like to go deep because you may say something that I disagree with, and now in today's culture, we can't disagree. Your opinion has to be the same as mine. So I don't want to go deep because I really like you, but I don't want to dislike you because you think differently than I do at a certain level down here.
And that's what bothers me, because just because I believe in something different doesn't mean I'm not the best thing in the world to happen to you, right? Because I might just like with Pete, I might make you look. You might hate what I believe. Let's just say, you know, I believe in this person for president. You believe in that, but we all have our reasoning. I might open up your mind and you go, you know, I never looked at it that way.
Sure.
You know,
but I'm just saying,
I'm not a bad person because I believe differently. I'm actually here to challenge you. Just, you know, I mean, you know, and that's the thing. I get in trouble a lot, like with my wife or my kids and anybody, is I kind of challenge them with because I have some pretty crazy off the cuff questions of people. And I'm open. I'll open right up to somebody right away.
And that says that's today's, Lisa says that's in today's America.
So to borrow the current vernacular in the US society, from what we see, you know, and from what we read, you guys call it the woke culture. That has unfortunately that has not permeated into Asian society as a whole.
What culture?
The woke culture.
You said the woke culture?
Yeah, the WOKE, the woke culture.
Woke.
Yeah, woke culture.
What the hell is that?
Well, we actually kind of make fun of people with using that term. It's not wokeness. Wokeness is saying I am aware of, you know, your individuality and your right to have your individuality, and that there becomes the society, the wokeness of.
So we make fun of that too over here, Pete.
You should.
The majority of us don't really give a rat ass about that culture.
Right.
We don't really give a rat ass about it. But of course, the younger ones being influenced by social media, you know, those below 16, 15, or they view it as some sort of a flag waving thing, and for majority of us, like, you know what, you guys just go and do what you guys will do, but, you know, kind of leave the rest of society alone. We don't give a rat's ass about that, you know. Just this is not, and the common in that is across Asia, actually, to be honest. And that the reason is because at the end of the day, the type of issues that perhaps the US is facing in terms of, you know, the politics, the race, does not really have its equivalent here in Asia. We have other problems that the US doesn't have, or you're not using, you know. So hence, you were actually two worlds apart. As you know, never the twain shall meet. So the woke culture, to apply it to the Asian society, doesn't really affect that much. Sure, there is racism, there is discrimination, but it is not to the extent which I think certain races are facing in the US. So hence, it doesn't really grab a foothold over here. Most of us, we read the news, we know what's happening in the US, but that's it. It's worlds apart. It's across the pond. We don't have the luxury of flying there to understand everything, and so we'll just live on this side, and, you know, we carry on with our lives because we have a different set of problems that we have to encounter.
And I think that's interesting.
Silas has got something.
Yeah, Silas, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to acknowledge everything.
Hand like we're in school. I feel like a teacher. Silas, sir, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I wanted to just acknowledge quickly everything that Gary was just saying. I agree. And, you know, when I think of woke culture, it has a very Johnny-come-lately kind of feel to me. Yeah. I think that really, as a society, we need to be responding to evolving human needs. You know, regardless of what political ideology you bring with you, we have a responsibility to each other and to do the right thing. And so I think, you know, each of us can be woke in our own lives in our own way, and we need a more collective consciousness around doing the right thing. That's just my feeling on my philosophy on life. So
Yeah.
I
I mean, Silas is from Arizona, Phoenix. Yeah, I was there in 2015. I was in Phoenix, and I actually traveled to Tucson to visit the Pima Airspace Museum. But I can tell you, I had a wonderful time in Phoenix. I visited Scottsdale. My friend brought me to Scottsdale, and to a few of the areas there. And I think the culture there perhaps is a bit different from the big city culture like New York or Los Angeles. It was very comfortable for me as an Asian or as a Singaporean going there. That everybody that I talked to in Arizona, be it from Tucson or Phoenix, we could have a conversation, about everything under the sun. And yeah, sure, we may have our own opinions, but nobody's born alike. Everybody is different. So I don't see any issue about everybody having a different opinion. It's a basic principle of agree to disagree at the end of the day. But we still can sit down and have a drink.
And agreeing to disagree. I mean, Scott, why don't you share what Shayna has?
So I was just reading that and I love it. And Shayna, you are so right. And this is bothersome. So Shayna says there is a crisis in authenticity, and that's why we might not be excited to engage with people. I personally crave deep and authentic connections, and at times I'm starving to death, which, I mean, that really just hits home. People are inauthentic, just like, how are you doing? They don't give a shit.
And
right?
And
I mean, that's just being cordial. And, I don't even know why people, if you really don't want to know, for me, don't ask me. Just walk by. Hey, don't ask me, because I mean, if you ask me something like that, and my wife, she'll probably chime in, will tell you, I will stop. I will engage. I will change up my day and my time for somebody. If you really authentically want to chat with me and share with me, but people, I think, are afraid to do it in a lot of reasons, because they might feel like they're going to get screwed or judged.
So at times, I'll embarrass my kids and my wife, because at times, somebody's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I'll stop and I go, "Do you really want to know, or were you just trying to be nice?"
Right. So and what does that person do? They see you later.
Yep, gotta go.
I'll see you at work. Right. And that's the thing, because people are inauthentic, but they're doing it because that's kind of what you were taught.
And see, I learned be when I'm going to be inauthentic. I'll share that in a minute. Lisa says, I agree, Shayna. I find myself being more of an introvert than I ever have been in my life, but only because it's difficult to find people able to have deep conversations and not just make party happy all the time.
Yeah.
It's party happy.
You're not coming to my party, Lisa.
Just like low level.
What I learned, going back to
it's my party. I'll cry if I want
earlier
to.
about me.
I'll cry if I want to.
When I cry. Watch him cry. He's going to be a crying little baby.
Ken's not a crybaby.
I almost feel like Ken. I got
so. I could put my glasses on too. We could be glasses buddies.
That's it.
But early on, after a while, I learned to not ask, "How's your weekend?" or "How you're doing," and instead, if I did not want to engage, I did and it cracked me up when I saw it in a certain movie. But I used to do the, "Hey, there you are. Hey, you're here. Thanks for being here. Right. Good to see you." Right. It's a direct comment. It's not a welcome. And I saw that once in an Austin Powers movie. "Hey, there you are." And the guy says, "Oh, do I know you?"
Bastard?
He's like, "No, I don't. Do I know you? No, but that's where you are. You're right there." And he just kept walking.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Austin Powers. Yeah.
Austin Powers.
It was an Austin Powers movie, but I'm like, oh crap, I've done that to people. Right. I changed that up because I did not want to engage. I had stuff to do. Now, if I do want to engage, and I'll say, "Hey, how you been?
Right.
What's going on?"
Right. Well, that's an opening question. That's to start engaging them. But are you authentic in that engagement? Well, with her, we're saying inauthentic.
And you have to. And Lisa says lols, meaning bars and party and ignore themselves in life. But, so the surface party conversation. But, right. I mean, people, I suppose, are afraid of being judged.
I understand that, because believe it or not, I talk a lot and I'm here and I put myself out there, but I am deathly afraid of being judged and what people think about me. And that's an issue I have to work through myself. And that's, I know it's there, but it's hard to work through. But, You know,
So
but that's why I want people to ask me and question me.
We're coming up. Oh, Lisa mentions ability, which is a perspective I haven't considered. And there are some who might not be capable. And she ends that on a question mark rather than my inflection downtone on a period.
I think definitely there's people that are incapable because they don't know anything other than.
I think I think perhaps Lisa is referring to conversational capability or the ability to hold a conversation, as they say in the olden days, you know, the ability to hold a conversation. And I think but I mean, what I say is probably the US centric sort of situation where with today's culture that's happening in the US, people are afraid to hold a conversation because, as you rightly say, they are afraid, as Scott said, you know, they may be afraid of getting judged. Of you know, it's like, hey, you know, this guy has not woken up from his slumber, and you know, he's not woke. I think this is not very good in the long term because therefore people will start lose their conversational ability, and eventually, as Pete says, you know, it's like, hell, I don't even want to have a chat with you. I'm just going to walk on by you and just go about my way.
That's kind of the corporate mentalities.
There's a time and place for everything. We live in a very fast-paced culture, and there's not always time to, everyone's there at work to do their job. So sometimes it doesn't really lend itself to those deeper conversations. You have to take time out for that, take someone to lunch or take a break with them if they're willing.
But that's what our culture, that's where our culture has gone wrong, I think. Just because you're at work, I mean, the whole idea when you're hired is to do a job, right? But it's also to help others to do their job to the best of their ability, right? To become the best person that they can for that company. And if me getting to know my counterpart, on a certain level is going to help us, to have a better day. Because, I mean, I know me, when I feel like I'm blending with somebody or we're on the same page, I feel better, which makes me produce more, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're comfortable with somebody, unless you're just having these surface things, hey, how you doing? You walk by, you don't care. You really don't care, but it's just being cordial or nice because you're in there and you have to, so you don't want to feel uncomfortable around them.
And that was, I made a habit of that on my way in. Like if I'm getting there for the day or coming back from being out somewhere, I've got something on my mind. I got to get it taken care of. I got to do it now. Elsewise, I may forget it. Now, I love, Silas, what you just said. There's a time and a place for everything. There is always a time and a place for going back to Shayna's observational comedian thing, but for observation. If you see someone in the workplace who is obviously not having a good time, and this happened for me not too long ago, you engage, you need to engage them. You can't leave someone sitting at a desk or operating machinery or doing a task if you see they are obviously distressed. And and that you cannot do that.
But everybody does.
You have to. But what's going to happen? What is going to happen is you're going to lose that employee eventually if they just feel like they're left alone, and even though they're just there they're paid to be doing a job.
Yeah.
That's why we all work. You're paid to do a job if you go work for someone else. That's the way that is. It's the way that happens. But if you leave that person to nothing but their role with no engagement, when you see there's a problem, you're a shit leader. Excuse my language, but you are. You need to stop what's going on. And you need to say what's happening. Why the tears? Why the long face?
You need to care about
why the sadness? Because that's a human being there. That's a person. And you're investing in that person.
Yep.
And if you're going to invest in and unfortunately, a person who's experiencing a poor quality of life, you're going to get poor quality of work and poor quality of engagement, and it's going to do none of you any good whatsoever. And if you can help them get past that, even if it's nothing more than taking a minute and sitting down and just talking, you need to do that. So there is always a time and a place for these kind of things, but recognition and mindfulness and saying, Scott, man, no, you look fine today. But as an example, if you look like shit,
long night, huh?
Why? What's going on? Is something, you having a problem with something? Everything all right? You need to talk about something. We got 1 minute left. Anybody have anything? Shayna, maybe we prejudice the outcomes before the conversation starts, so we are possibly judging ourselves before giving others a chance to connect, and bingo. Lisa, I think it's different for everyone. Shayna, the energy of attack in society in the moment is creating an involvement that is horrifying to people who already struggle to feel part of anything. Holy crap. That's it. Maybe we can pick up on that next week, folks. Right. It's the bottom of the hour. We have very little time left. Scott, any final words? Well, not final words.
Yeah,
right. Words for that.
Well, obviously, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. We always appreciate it. Make sure you share with everybody. We'd love all the interactions. But, this is something that I think is going to help our world is if we can just kind of pull people out of their shells and make them feel comfortable and not,
and you can
not feel judged if they're different. Because everyone's different.
Everybody's different.
Go out today and make someone feel good by really caring and asking them a real question. Hey, how you doing? Not what's going on. How you really? Is there anything I can help you with today?
Yeah.
People would be surprised how good you feel if you can actually help and change somebody's day.
And one little quick thing is, how can I make this moment happier for you?
Right. Thanks for tuning in today, guys.
Here's how you do it. Give me that good news.
Give me that good news, baby. See you next Friday, everybody.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you so
Peace
much.
out.
Silas, Gary, thank you. Everybody else. Thank you so much.
That good news.
I need to make this part of my alarm.